Welcome back, everybody. And in this lecture, we'll be going through the solutions to the Python crash course exercises. Let's hop over to the exercise notebook. All right, let's get started with the crash course exercise question solutions. So the very first one was hopefully pretty simple for you. It's what is 7 to the power of 4? To do that, we just need to set 7 asterisk asterisk to the power of 4, and then we get that. Split this string, so we have s is equal to hi there, Sam, so I can actually just copy and paste this, run that, and then in a new cell we can say s.split, close parentheses, shift enter, and then we see hi there, Sam. Next, it was given the variables planet and diameter, use .format to print this following. So I'm going to run this cell to make sure those parameters or those variable names are saved. And then the first thing we want to do is say print, and then I will say the diameter of Earth is, and it's 12,742, and I'll just say km, and then I'll call .format, and then I want to replace planet and diameter here. So we'll say Earth and put curly braces there, and then diameter, I'm going to put curly braces there and delete those, and then say .format, planet, and then diameter. So that's just kind of to show you the logic that I'm using for actually inserting these variables into the string. And if I run this, I can see here the diameter Earth is however many kilometers. So hopefully that made sense. We're just kind of interpolating these variables into the strings here using curly braces. Next, it was given this nested list, use indexing to grab the word hello. So this is a little complicated, but let's break it down into steps. First thing I want to do is grab that third or fourth item in the list at index 3. So remember, I'm looking for hello here. So we'll go 0, 1, 2, and then here's 3. So let's see what that looks like. Whoops, I first need to run this. There we go. And then the next thing I want to do is actually grab index 1 from that list. So I keep just breaking this down. And then from here, it starts getting more obvious. So we'll say index 2. That brings back. And sometimes people stop here, but if you actually just want the string and not the list itself, you need to grab one more with 0. And this returns the string itself. Okay. Then the next one up was given this nested dictionary, grab the word hello. I also said be prepared, this is annoying / tricky. And I'm a little zoomed in here, so we can't see the whole thing, but I'm basically going to walk through it. So first thing, let's actually run this so we have it in memory. Then I'm going to grab from the first key, so DK1. Then I can see here it kind of prints out this list. So the next thing I want to do is grab 0, 1, 2, and then this dictionary. So we'll say that's at index 3. And now I get this kind of tricky dictionary, and I want this value at key tricky to begin trying to grab hello here. So let's put that in. Tricky, run this. And then it says, oh man, inception, target, etc. So I actually want this target. So what I'm going to do is say 0, 1, 2, 3. So pass in a 3 again, and then get target. And then I just want hello, so that's the fourth item in the list, index 3. And there's hello. So again, pretty tricky. Don't worry about this, kind of just to practice indexing and key calls. But if this was really tricky for you, we're not going to do anything nearly this crazy as far as nested. In fact, we'll never have really a nested dictionary throughout the course. This is kind of more just fun for you to practice. Now, what is the main difference between a tuple and a list? Well, a tuple is immutable. Continuing on, if we want to create a function that grabs the email website domain from a string in the form, some user at domainname.com. So let's go ahead and create a function that can do this. So we'll say def domain get takes in an email, and then I'm going to return that email, and I'm going to call split on the @ symbol, and then just like we did for that tweet, I'm going to say -1, and then I'm going to run this, and let me fix that casing there, and there it is, domain.com. So what are we doing here? We're just splitting on the @ symbol and then grabbing the very last word. So if I actually want to see what this looks like, so I'm going to say, let's say this .split on @ I can see that I get this list. So by saying -1, I'm just grabbing that last item in the list. Next, we wanted to create a basic function that returns true if the word dog is contained in the input string. And don't worry about edge cases like a punctuation being attached to the word dog, but do account for capitalization. So this one was a little tricky because we're going to do something that we didn't exactly show you directly, but hopefully you're able to figure it out. So I'll say find dog takes in some string, and then it's going to return dog in. I'm going to take that string, lowercase it, and then I can split it to get a list out. And then if I call find dog here, so let's fix that casing, it returns true. Now something I don't actually have to do, I don't actually need to split this. In function also works for strings directly. So for example, I can say something like s in super, and that also works. Now in the lecture I only showed you this in operator for a list, which is why you may have wanted to do the split and why I have that in the solution, but it's not actually necessary. Up next, we want to create a function that counts the number of times the word dog occurs in a string. And again, ignore some edge cases. So I will say def count dog st. So it takes in some string. I'm going to set count equal to 0. And I'll say for word in st.lower. And we can go ahead and split this. If the word is equal to dog, then what I'm going to do is add 1 to the count. So we'll say count plus equal to 1. And in this case, we really do need to split this. Otherwise, we would be iterating for every single letter in the string if we didn't actually split. And then after that's all done, I'm just going to return the count. So let's run that, and let's confirm that this works by saying count dog. And there it is, 2 counts of dog in this string. Okay, finally, this final problem. Hopefully you read it. If not, you can just take the time to read it. But essentially, we need to check if we've been caught speeding or not using some logic. And let's go around with this function. So I'm going to say if it is my birthday, then I will take the speeding value. So I'm going to create speeding is equal to speed minus 5. Else, speeding is equal to speed. So essentially what I'm doing is if you read this, I'm going to be adjusting for that birthday. And then I'm going to say if speeding is greater than 80 miles per hour. So note now I'm using speeding, not just speed. So I already accounted for whether it was not my birthday. I'm going to return big ticket. And then, whoops, let me make sure I line that up correctly. And then elif, so if the speeding, or else if I should say, was greater than 60, then I got a small ticket. And then finally else, I didn't get a ticket at all because I wasn't speeding. And essentially what I ended up doing here was adjusting for that birthday right here, and then having the additional if statements to check whether I'm going above 80 or above 60. So let's do Shift Enter to run this and make sure that I actually get the same results here. So 81 in true should be small ticket. Let's run it. Looks like we got small ticket. 81 in false should be big ticket. Run it, and I got big ticket. Okay, that's it for the solutions. Hopefully most of these were pretty straightforward. If this was extremely challenging to you, then I would suggest actually taking another course in the meantime to maybe review and try to beef up on some of these more basic Python commands. If this was just kind of okay, then that should be fine to continue on with the rest of the course. A lot of this stuff we're kind of going to see behind the scenes. We'll be dealing mainly with the data frame syntax in Spark, in which case you won't be doing crazy things like doing so many if-else statements or creating your own functions, those kind of things. We won't actually do them that much because a lot of the data frame syntax has taken care of that for us already. All right. Thanks, everybody, and I'll see you at the next section of the course.